Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on sensitization of the Made in Kenya mark and also the trade portal. We are privileged to have the team from Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, KEPROBA, that will be taking us through the criteria on how to use the Made in Kenya mark, which is growing increasingly, becoming an important identity for products manufactured in Kenya, and also how we could use the trade portal to get data about trade flows and inform our business decisions. So to kick off this webinar, I would request that we have the opening remarks from Mr. Job Wanjohi, the Head of Policy Research and Advocacy Unit from the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. So welcome, Mr. Wanjohi.
Thank you so much, Abel, for calling me out to make remarks on behalf of my CEO, that is Mr. Anthony Mwangi. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you for that confirmation. So I'm making remarks on behalf of the CEO, Mr. Anthony Mwangi. Also happy to note that we set a series of activities at the action plan with the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency. And this is one of them, whereby we are looking into the subject matter. So I want to first recognize the KAM directors present, sectors, regional leadership present, the representative of Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency CEO, KAM members, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a great honor to have you all on board for this sensitization session on the Made in Kenya mark and the trade portal. We are grateful to the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, a team led by the CEO, Dr. Wilfred Marube, for taking the time to join us. Kenya's Association of Manufacturers, working closely with the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, has developed the Kenya Manufacturing 20 by 30 plan. The plan seeks to increase the manufacturing sector's contribution to the GDP from the current 7.2% to 20% by 2030 and subsequently transform our economy. The plan has outlined 4 main pillars to drive this: global competitiveness, export-led growth, industrialized agriculture, and SME development. And subsequently, for us to manage to grow the manufacturing sector by 20% by 2030, its contribution to the GDP is a vision that the GDP by then will be starting at about 25 trillion shillings GDP. And subsequently, then the export, because it expects as a percentage, our export ambition, because it is our annual growth as far as exports are concerned, expect on the GDP, with GDP by 2030 is envisioned to be at 25 trillion shillings. That means even the exports need to grow commensurately. Manufacturing sector growth will not be achieved by solely relying on domestic markets. This calls on Kenya to leverage on products where we have a comparative advantage to grow our exports. From an agriculture perspective, we have an opportunity to identify crops with the potential for higher value addition to diversify our export promotion. Let's take an example of the leather industry. Leather and leather products are among the most traded commodities in the world, with a current value estimated at US dollars 129.3 billion. This is according to Kenya Leather Development Council report of 2020. Africa owns 20% of the global livestock population, but accounts for only 4% of the leather produced. Kenya has the third largest herd of livestock in Africa, behind Ethiopia and Botswana. Currently, most of our leather is exported in raw hide and skin, and a huge percentage is in the form of wet blue and crust, with an export value of about 14 billion shillings. By restructuring the leather industry, reducing production costs, minimizing waste, and improving animal husbandry, the sector can generate 120 billion shillings by 2030 from both domestic and export markets. As such, expanding our export portfolio will enable us to improve our balance of payment and foreign currency reserves, This is through enhanced trade within EAC, the African Continental Free Trade Area, European Union, United States of America, the Republic of China and Japan, among other important markets. Global supply disruption due to COVID-19 and Ukraine crisis have also demonstrated the need for nations to reduce overdependence on specific markets. Herein lies the opportunity for Kenya to benefit from reshoring and to fully retake advantage of existing trade agreements such as AGOA, EU EPA, among others. KAM has partnered with the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency to promote locally manufactured goods in local and export markets. Through this partnership, we seek to position and promote Kenya and locally manufactured goods in the competitive local and global market. Subsequently, increase the volume and diversity of manufactured export products. Branding is a critical aspect in this endeavor, also as we seek to showcase to the world that the products in their shelves are manufactured in Kenya. In this regard, we encourage each one of you to adopt the Made in Kenya mark on all our products moving forward. The KEPROBA team will be shedding light on the mark of identity, as well as the trade portal that seeks to showcase all locally manufactured products to the world. In conclusion, in line with our commitments, we will continue to engage the government and its agency to drive the competitiveness of local industries. We are hopeful that each one of you will have gained valuable insights that will enable us to move forward towards an export-led economy. Thank you so much, and back to you, Eva.
Thank you, Job, for your welcome remarks. And as you spoke, I couldn't help but note the data on the leather value chain. And basically, I think that is the data that we wish to see how the trade portal can help us get the trends within the world and link that with what is locally manufactured, just to ensure that we are manufacturing for what is really demanded out there in the world. And as those products go to the world, they go alongside them with a mark of identity, which is the Made in Kenya mark. So from KEPROBA, I would like to introduce Mrs. Flois Mukabana to make the opening remarks on behalf of the CEO. Karibu, Flois.
Thank you very much, Abel, for giving me this opportunity. Welcome to the membership of KAM, who have joined us to learn about our two initiatives of Made in Kenya and the e-portal. I'm here representing our CEO, Dr. Wilfred Marube, who was unable to attend because he had prior commitments on this time, but he's asked me to be able to send his regards and to inform you that at the end of the day, with both the e-portal and the Made in Kenya mark, we're all working towards improving the status of Kenyan manufacturing and an opportunity for export markets into the world. Allow me then to now move to his formal speech, which begins by a way of introduction. I'm aware I'm talking to the KAM membership. I'm not so sure whether you have a background about who KEPROBA is, but as a way of introduction, I'd just like to tell you that Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency is a state corporation. It was established under State Corporations Act 446, legal notice number 110 of August 9th, 2019. And this was actually after a merger between the former Brand Kenya Board and the former Export Promotion Council. The agency has a mandate to implement export promotion and nation branding initiatives and policies to promote Kenya's export goods and services. As you're aware, Kenya Association of Manufacturing and KEPROBA have over the years collaborated to undertake various activities, including participation in trade fairs and in exhibitions, in joint trade missions and capacity building activities, just to name a few. So having noted the symbiotic relationship that these two organizations share, it became prudent to formalize this relationship through a memorandum of understanding that was signed 30th September this year. This MOU seeks to deepen and strengthen the collaborations between the parties in matters manufacturing, export promotion, and nation branding, and also provide an impetus to increase the momentum of these collaborations. In the spirit of the MOU, I would like to invite the membership of KAM to this joint webinar on Made in Kenya and ePortal, and hope that you'll be able to pick a few activities that you'll be able to run with in furtherance of your business in the manufacturing sector. As a way of introduction to the ePortal, I'd like to say that the KEPROBA's ePortal provides a platform where exporters and sellers can transact and showcase their products internationally. The ePortal serves as a resource center for exporters, and the portal link will also link Kenyan exporters to global buyers, provide capacity building programs through the Kenya Exporters Academy, and provide crucial information and statistics in terms of market intelligence. Kenya has shown signs of resilience in the export sector. The total exports in 2021 grew to 743.7 billion Kenyan shillings compared to 643.7 billion in 2020, which marks an increase of 15.5%. Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency is contributing to this growth by diversifying Kenya's export products and markets as outlined in our 3-year strategic plan. On matters concerning Kenya Nation brand, the agency has created the Made in Kenya brand mark for Kenyan goods and services. Through sensitization and promotion, KEPROBA has helped drive the widespread adoption of the Made in Kenya mark, with 235 enterprises having taken up the mark so far. The adoptees of this mark are profiled and promoted by the agency through digital campaigns and partnerships. The parties agreed to promote the Made in Kenya initiative to encourage its membership and enterprises to adopt the Made in Kenya mark of identity, with the intention of strengthening Kenya's position as the industrial hub for Africa by being the source of high quality products and enable customers and locally and abroad to immediately identify its products as quality and authentically Kenyan. Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency and Kenya Association of Manufacturers will work together in promoting the nation branding initiatives, competitive local manufacturing within a liberalized global environment, and export trade by mainstreaming business enterprises into the export trade. This will be done through the branding of enterprises, capacity building, value addition, and market access, which will enhance the Kenya's competitiveness and also expand Kenyan export. The management of KAM, ladies and gentlemen, and the team from KEPROBA, we welcome you to be attentive as our presenters take you through the Made in Kenya initiative and the serve as a resource center for
Okay, thank you, Flois, for your warm remarks and welcome remarks from KEPROBA. We'll go to the presentations and discussions for the day, presenting the Made in Kenya mark and the criteria on how to get it on your products. We'll also go to the trade portal and take you through how the trade portal works and how you as manufacturers can take advantage of it. I would request that we post our questions on the question and answer function on the Zoom application and also the chat function. If you want to speak, please also note it on the chat function, and you may also maybe raise your hand and we'll be able to give you a chance to speak. So I would like to invite Ms. Jace Masharia from KEPROBA to take us through the Made in Kenya initiative. Karibu, Jace.
Thank you very much, Abel. As you've heard, my name is Jace Macharia. I work with Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, specifically in the marketing and communication departments. Today, I will have the honor of taking you through the Made in Kenya initiative presentation and brief to just understand what it is and how you can take part and benefit from it. So the Made in Kenya initiative is an initiative by our agency, Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, and it is meant to promote locally manufactured goods and services in a bid to make them identifiable, not only locally, but also internationally. As you have heard, we have the mandate of promoting Kenya's exports. And one of the challenges that we were facing out there is to recognize Kenya as a country of origin for high quality goods, especially some of the goods we sell, like our tea, our coffee. The agency came up with this, the government came up with this initiative so that we are able to brand our products in a way that can be identified across all the markets, so that people can be able to identify our products as made in Kenya. So as I have noted, it is a brand identity and tagline. It is a campaign that is running, and you will find us on all our social media platforms using the hashtag Made in Kenya. And what you're saying is that once you adopt this brand, your product is authentically considered Kenyan. So there are some criteria that we go through before we give you the mark, so that you are able to recognize your product as being made in Kenya. But ideally, it is not a prohibitive process. As you'll see from our presentation, it is a process that you can be able to take up very easily. It's free of charge, and it is an online process. The Made in Kenya is a logo, as I have shared initially, that is put on all our products that are made in Kenya. It is a registered trademark here in Kenya, and it can be applied on products, packaging, websites, social media, advertising, among many other things. The marks have also been copyrighted and patented by KIPI, so we have rights to use them, and we can be able to give these rights to our adoptees who adopt the mark. There are various ways of application for this mark, and once you apply for the products that you want to brand, we will take you through the branding manual so that you can be able to understand how best to apply the Made in Kenya mark on your product. What you're seeing on the screen is a leather bags, and they use hanging tags so that they're able to brand their bags. There are two marks that we normally use under this campaign or initiative. We have the Made in Kenya mark and the Grown in Kenya mark. The Made in Kenya mark is meant for manufacturers who actually produce and manufacture goods, and the Grown in Kenya is meant for products that are grown in Kenya and sold as either horticultural products or agricultural products. So depending with the kind of work you do, or what you export or what you sell, you can either fit into these two wide categories. However, there have been requests by our stakeholders to consider advancing these marks to incorporate services and other sectors, especially say music, people who create creative or who are in the creative industry, and people who do services. They have also indicated that they would like to be branded, and so we are in discussions to see how best to just incorporate them in the initiative. This is work in progress. So what are the objectives of the Made in Kenya mark? I had highlighted this earlier, but ideally one is to ensure that our consumers are able to locally are able to identify our products both locally and internationally, and to make Kenya be known as a country of origin for high quality and authentic products. A country of origin is a concept that has been applied in trade for especially in international trade for quite a while. and it is a wide topic that we may not be able to cover here today, but it refers to how countries brand themselves as being producers of good quality products. And so you'll hear made in China, made in UK, made in Australia, and therefore there are brands that are known for specific products because of this. Kenya is among those, and we pride ourselves of being a country of origin of oil that is well known, but we still need to do more so that when our products reach our international markets, people are able to identify them and to just interact with our products knowing that they are from Kenya. We also want to create a strong brand proposition for Kenyan-made goods and to enhance competitiveness of our products in the local and in the global market. The other objective is to strengthen Kenya's position as a made-in country, and that's what I have highlighted. And this is part of the government agenda. A made-in country is what I have referred to as a country of origin, and we are trying as much as possible to position Kenya as competitive in this area. Additionally, in the PPDA Act, we have requested for preferential procurement for manufactured articles and materials that are supplied and produced in Kenya, so that our made in Kenya adoptees are given preferential treatment, especially when it comes to product procurement in government, state agencies, so that there's value that we add to you being a made in Kenya adoptee and being a made in Kenya brand. So what is the criteria of acquiring the mark? As I had noted earlier, it is a very straightforward process. One of the criteria or requirements that you need to meet is that you must be located in Kenya. Your business must be located in Kenya. You must also employ at least 50% of your employees as being Kenyan, or the majority. They can be 70, they can be more, but at least 50% must be Kenyan employees. You must also be compliant with the statutory requirements. These are tax. You must have a business registration certificates. Your company should not be insolvent, and you should not be debarred in any way from public procurement. Additionally, SMARC and any other recognized certification depending with the product that you produce. I have this mark, and therefore we make adjustments on your application. However, for most manufactured products, we do require, because this is the standard mark that shows that you have gone through the process and you have been verified as a product that can be sold to the public. Your design must be wholly produced in Kenya, must also be wholly or partially produced, and your raw materials, a significant component of them must be Kenyan, as outlined in the EAC Customs Union Rules of Origin. And we can be able to take you through this criteria once you start the application process with us. The application process is free of charge, and it is the application link on our website. We will be sharing this on our chat here, and be able to just requirements are needed and how you can go through it. It shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes. If you have all the required documents, once you receive it, say that you have met all the requirements, and an easy process. However, after you have applied for the mark, the work now starts of branding your products. And we have had a challenge of people applying for the mark and not really branding their products. And we encourage you who are here today that once you get the mark, it is for your own good to be known as a Made in Kenya mark. Try as much as possible to adopt this mark. We don't limit how you can adopt the mark. You can use stickers if it will be an easier option for you, or you can adopt it in current packaging or products. There are those who request that they finish their current packaging stock so that they can be able to adopt the mark on their new packaging stock, and we accept. But we request you as much as possible to try and adopt the mark on your packaging so that you can be identified as Made in Kenya. The adoption and approval process, as I've said, upon satisfactory verification of the mark, we will approve your application. You will be notified on email on the terms and conditions of the use of the mark, and you will be sent login details for you to access the adoptee zone. The adoptee zone, or where the Made in Kenya family brands are, is a very important space, because it is in this community that we get to share information on upcoming events, our expos, our exhibitions. We don't go looking for people out there, because we already have a database of people who we have worked with and gone through the journey with. So we give them preference first before we go out there to get more exhibitors or people from the public. And this is really one of the benefits of you being a Made in Kenya brand and having gone through this process, because we can verify we have gone through you have gone through the process, and we know the kind of products you sell. And so this is also a benefit that you can accrue by being a Made in Kenya brand. Just to summarize again, the benefits: one is access to government procurement services. The other one is access to training. We do train our Made in Kenya adoptees on product development, on branding of their products, on marketing of their products. We even market their products on our platforms, both locally and internationally. And when we have events, we give them priority, as I had noted earlier. When we have donors who want to partner with such SMEs, we also just go to our database again and request the same people to apply for such opportunities, and also access to promotional services from both the government, ourselves, and other agencies. Some of our adoptees, I will just through quick. We have Alive and Kicking. We have Alive and Kicking. We have Mahogany Organics. They are made in Kenya. We have Purple Better Tea, who sell purple tea. You can see the way they have branded their products. We have Mama Spices, and you can also see the way they have branded their products. We have Harvest of Sunshine, and they are an all-natural hair care line. The branding of the products is on the back, so you may not be able to see exactly how they have branded their products, but they have. And with that, we come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. Abel, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Joyce. I request that we keep our questions and clarifications and comments coming on the chat boxes and also on the question and answer function on the Zoom platform. You may also request to be given a chance to speak, and we'll be gladly able to do that. So from the presentation by KEPROBA, I think we can appreciate that first of all, the Made in Kenya marker has some benefits to us as manufacturers. It goes a long way into ensuring that we are able to brand our products as made in Kenya. And this really ties up into a mandate as Kenya Association of Manufacturers of promoting locally manufactured products. And we can all agree that there is a gradual shift within the market towards preference to locally manufactured products. We've seen the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya policy and initiative taking shape, and we are seeing more and more public and private consumers seeking to have products which are locally manufactured. On the other front, we are seeing more consumers getting attached to the Made in Kenya movement or consumerism psychology. And as such, having your brands, your products branded with a Made in Kenya mark brings such benefits amongst others, as noted by Floyd. So we'll go to the next presentation from Ruben and Wesley from KEPROBA on the trade portal, and we'll cover all the questions and answers in one session after the presentation by the KEPROBA team. So karibu Ruben. Ruben, you may proceed.
Can you hear me, members?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you.
And you can also see the beautiful page that you are presenting.
Yeah. So, members, as I was introducing the whole concept, that the Make It Kenya portal is about to help us, one, to brand ourselves as people or Kenyans as exporters, and next to learn how to go about exporting, and very importantly, have engagement between ourselves and the various people who are out there whom we are engaging in export trade. So allow me to just take you through the whole thing. And starting point is that there are three sections. The first section, as you can see, is about us. We have put this section here just to make sure that this portal has ownership, which is Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency. At no time should we have a problem of having information that is outdated because of lack of ownership. So what is discussed under here is just all about the institution, the services, and so on. I will not go into those details. On the second tab is the Kenya brand. And under here, we have discussed various concepts which are to help us to position Kenya as a good place for trade, a good place for investment. This section, as you can see, what is scrolling is really to position ourselves for business. From the tab up there, you can see there are various options that are available. The second item there about Kenya is just for somebody who is out there learn about Kenya and know where we are and what makes us who we are. It's quite a bit of information there that somebody can also watch. So largely the audience around this Kenya brand is twofold. One is on our end as Kenyans, to be able to be proud of ourselves. For example, if you look at what we have discussed under people, we have highlighted a few iconic people just who make us proud. We will continually be populating more information here on. We are proud of our forefathers, Mboya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Wangari Maathai, Eli Kipchoge, Lupita Nyong'o, just to mention a few. So we are putting all those people here so that wherever we are, we celebrate and we are proud. All of us do appreciate that whenever we make strides as a country, everybody forgets, really doesn't mind about which tribe they come from, but just one highlighted our fabric, our social fabric, what makes us 44 tribes of Kenya. Yes, for somebody to go through and appreciate what is iconic about whichever tribe makes Kenya what it is. So quite a lot of discussion. I'll not go into each item. Culture and heritage, our community, the Kenya Sihami campaign. This is part of the campaign we were running last 2-3 months during the electioneering period, just to help us stay focused, stay patriotic, so that we are proud of our steps as a country. Something about Invest in Kenya. This is just to help somebody who is out there, who indeed is the next audience. I've said the first audience is for you and me, who are Kenyans, who are exporting, who are interacting with people out there, to know, to be proud of the Kenya as a brand. This other bit, what I'm just putting on the screen, is for somebody who is out there, who wants to invest in Kenya or trade with Kenya. We've highlighted a number of items on what makes us who we are and how somebody can register to be an investor. We have integrated this with our partner, Kenya Investment Authority. So without going into so much on this, I just want to point out that it is very important for us as Kenyans to be proud of ourselves, because whenever we go out and talk to people who are out there, and we need to have a positive story about our country. A few times we forget, and some of us may go into competition that you are actually undercutting your fellow person on price or any other, and talking ill about a fellow Kenyan. That does not go very well in getting our image. So that is part of what this aspect is helping us to appreciate, to be proud, to be patriotic, and to have a nice brand of one, ourselves, then our country. The second bit, as I mentioned, is for anybody who is out there to see Kenya as a positive place, as a good place, as a good investment destination, as a trading partner. But no wonder we had the session that we had yesterday with South Africa, where we are now gaining, we shall be gaining and continue gaining from the good relationship that indeed partner states collaborates on diplomacy and on trade, because they feel they are good partners. Now that goodness, the measure of goodness, is how people perceive you to be. So that is what this part is helping us. Allow me to go to the next bit, which is the buyer-seller. The buyer-seller is about the engagement of you and the potential buyer. This, in one part, as you can see, it is the slider up here is showcasing our iconic products. And here we have all various products that are available. The slider you see on the screen is just an indication. There's coffee, there's tea, there is what, so many other products. And most importantly, down here you can see that there are actually various categories of products that somebody can now trade in or go into the stage. Then we have the Made in Kenya. Made in Kenya is what my colleague has just mentioned, that this is an initiative to help us to position our products and have them traced back to Kenya. And just as you can see, the second menu item there is how to trade. E-learning, we want to make sure that anybody who wants to go into export can be able to learn online. And this item here is part of what we are putting together. There are several courses that we have put together here for Kenyans to learn how to brand, how to do logistics, how to walk the whole export journey. And this content is being populated, so I'll not go into so much about that. The next one, very importantly, is what all of us may want to talk to. I will restrict myself to the first option because in the interest of time, that we have the trade statistics. So under trade statistics, we have several reports that have been put together, and these reports are dynamic. So the first report is what we are calling the overall export performance. If we just wanted to have an overall highlight of how we are doing as a country, you go to that report, and I'm loading it, click on it so that it can load. And here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that this report shows that last year, 2021, these were exports from Kenya and these were imports from Kenya. And among the export products that form the 7.731 billion is tea. If I just point to it, it shows you the actual figure that we exported tea as the #1 product, whose value is 130 billion Kenya shillings. The second product, as you can see there, is cut flour. And cut flour is translating to around a figure of, I can call it 8 billion that we exported. And so on and so forth. You can see there's petroleum, there is coffee, which is in the 4th place, there's titanium, there are dates, palm oil, medicaments, and so on and so forth. So this high-level report just helps you to appreciate that, as I said, top exports, top imports. As you can see, the top 10 imports are petroleum, oil, then there's palm oil, there is medicaments, there's weights, and you can see motor cars and all that. So this gives you a high level. If you're using this report and you wanted to just make some alterations, for example, we are looking at 1 year, but you want to look at, let's say, 5 years. 5 years from yesteryear is about 2016. So you merely drag. You can look at the left top. I'm just dragging. So I'll drag to 2016, and when I release, it gives me a different figures, and they show that, for example, we exported 3.7 trillion vis-a-vis 10.45 trillion of importation. Again, in that period of time, 5 years, these are the products that were the main contributors in the export. And down there, you have the top 10 import products. And on the left, you can see which markets formed our highest share in terms of where we exported those products. Largely from this computation, you can see Uganda, you can see Pakistan, you can see United States, and so on and so forth. But most importantly, let's just look at, for example, if we went back to the top exports and you just click on P on the middle right. I clicked on P, it means I'm filtering. Instead of seeing all the other products, I'm zeroing on T. And you can see that on the left, the graph grays out to countries where we are not exporting tea and tells you that Pakistan, for that period, was our main market for tea, and it absorbed 316 trillion, followed by there is Russia here, there is United Kingdom, there is United Arab Emirates, India, there is Saudi Arabia, and there's France. But basically, this is the highlight, this is top level highlight. I'll be showing you just a few more reports. Maybe you can go to exports by region. Exports by region looks at the various regions, either by geography or by the economic blocks that we are putting in. So once again, the slider is on the top right for us to just look at which years we are interested in. So if we looked at 2017 to 2021, it tells us that has been the trend. As you can see, exports have been rising gradually, but the gap between exports and imports is quite wide. The exports are the red and the imports are the blue. And because we are on the report for regions, you may be interested in, let's say, East Africa. When you click on East Africa, then the trend changes. As you can see, exports into East Africa are quite high as opposed to the imports into the same region over the same period. And again, it gives you a feel of the products that are going into those regions. As you can see on your screens, that #1 product in the region is palm oil. As you appreciate, palm oil is being used for manufacture of cooking oil. And that translates to a figure of 47 billion Kenya shillings, as opposed to the import value of the same product from the same market, which is 266 million. So while you're on this report, you can easily zero in on a particular country. So instead of looking at the whole region, you can again just say, I want to look at Rwanda, for example. So for the same period, Rwanda, now the trend immediately changes to having a very good export or trade balance in favor of Kenya. And you can see again that the products change, that now what is #1 export product is soap, followed by medicaments, palm oil, and so on and so forth. This list is very long. You can actually appreciate quite a number. It's almost 100 or so products that are going to that market. So if I click back on Rwanda, it gives me back everything to the region. If you are interested in another region, let's say EU, again, it gives you the feel of how we are trading in EU and tells you #1 product to EU is cut flour. course, we all appreciate that cut flour is going to Netherlands, then followed by coffee. So this is how we are doing in various regions. So mentioned, whenever you click on any region, it gives you the list of countries that make up that region, and you can now make a decision based on that region or a particular country in that region. The next report, which is important, is by country. So we are now coming from general, we are now progressing to very, very specific. And click on the country, and it gives us a listing of all countries that do exist on this planet. And without changing, the default country that has been loaded, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, is Afghanistan. And tells us for the last couple of years, from 2011 to 2021, this has been the trend for Afghanistan. And tea is our #1 product, as you can see therein. So for each, you have the top export and top import. We import very little from that market, but our exports have dwindled a little bit in that region. This is tea, which is now going to Pakistan instead of Afghanistan. Okay, so this report, ladies and gentlemen, is now looking at very specifically which country, because whenever you want to do an intervention, you actually be looking at a particular country. Maybe you may want to look at generally which region is buying which product, then you zero in on which particular market is buying what. So under here, we have all countries that ever exist, that we have ever traded in. And if, for example, you are looking at South Africa, whom we have just signed some, we are going into that working relationship, then it gives you quickly that this is what we are doing, that this is the export and import from South Africa. You can see that as it is right now, South Africa is is at an advantage over our exports to the same country. Yeah, we are exporting very little, and that is why we needed to have this relationship so that we can penetrate into that market. So what products again? There we go, the products that are being exported and products that are being imported from or what we are trading between ourselves and South Africa. There are two reports here, again, for the top exports, top export product, top import product. May want to look at it and make inference. These statistics are available, and we shall be restricting them to Kenyans. So if you want to take advantage, feel free to do that. But when we have the restrictions, that will be now a requirement that you must register so that we know that you are a Kenyan who is enjoying this service because it is to your advantage. This statistic should help you to penetrate a market, not help somebody to have an advantage of us. The other bit which I want to discuss, and the final one, is the aspect of buyer-seller engagement. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to just go to this other bit, which is to help us appreciate now the e-commerce. And as you can see on the screen, is the coffee product, which is being shown. But this particular item is actually here under Kenyan brands. And we want to use this particular portal to sell to whoever is out there and is looking for products from Kenya. Largely, you can see categorization of various products. And if somebody is interested in black tea, they'll go there, and somebody who is doing it, working or supplying tea or fresh flowers and so on and so forth. Largely, we have used the HS coding to form this categorization. So if somebody found a particular product, let's we assume we have something, let me check on the tea and see who has registered so far as an exporter, so that we can see what is required of me to showcase my products to the world. So I've clicked on tea, coffee, so it's loading that. Taking a lot of time, just click on the overall categorization. Okay, so when somebody goes there, you can see we have the various categories on the far left, and those who have signed up so far, we are slightly over 50 Kenyans who have signed up so far, and showcasing various products. As you can see, maybe some of you are online, but largely this must be Kenyans, because this has been done using the taxpayers' resources. So we are keen that the person who registers here is Kenyan. So the process is this: that first of all, let me just pick one of the Kenyans who has showcased their products, so that you see what is being showcased per enterprise. So if we look at valuable volunteer frontiers, which products have they listed so far? If they have, they are yet to have their products listed. So I will just get somebody else. You say two ways. Let's use Malkia. So view the products that Malkia has. I'm assuming I'm a buyer, looking at what Malkia has, and here they are. Malkia has various products which she has put up. And if I was interested to view a little bit more of this one, then I'll view the details of the products. And these are the details of this product. That's the price, and quite a bit of that. I can see a better photo of the image, a better photo of the product. And very importantly, if I wanted to engage this particular person, or before I engage, I want to learn about the seller. So click on the seller, and here it gives you background on the seller. It gives the buyer a feel of how many employees the person has, with type of company, the year of establishment. Such details help to give confidence to the buyer that I'm dealing with a company that has some certain information which is very important for me to know. For example, that I'm dealing with a company that has been in existence. I'm dealing with a company that is registered. It's a limited company, and it has some a good number of employees. But more importantly, if somebody wanted to engage on this product, they will not engage if they have not registered. And if I just click on this option for engagement, sorry, if I just want to say I add to cart, then it will ask me to register, because now I'm a buyer I cannot add to cart, or I cannot engage, cannot do anything if I have not given my details to the expected buyer, or sorry, expected seller. I am and why I can stand to be a good person. So, what have we put in for us to make sure that information is credible? The seller is Kenyan, very importantly, that you must be Kenyan. So we have put in a few controls to just make sure that you are Kenyan and you are registered. That when you go to register, and you can see up here, choose sign up, you choose which category. You are signing up as a seller or you are signing up for Made in Kenya. The difference is that you could be having your products, but you are not necessarily interested in exporting. So you just sign up as Made in Kenya for you to showcase your products to whoever Kenyan would be interested, but you're not interested in selling abroad. So, but if you are sign up as a seller, you click on that option and it gives you this minimum details which you now key in. And when you submit those, somebody will need to approve your registration. We have 2 levels, I can say 3 levels. That one, first of all, this information is sent to you on the email that you have provided. You need to confirm that you're actually using a legitimate email address. The mobile number, some number is sent to you to confirm again that you have a legitimate phone number. Then you create a password. After that, you'll be requested to enter your registration number as a business. And that is checked against the Sharia House listing. You and I know that there is the Registration Bureau at Sharia House, which has a database of all registered companies in Kenya. And it's after the system checks against that listing that confirms that you're registered. And also it checks your PIN against KRA to make sure again that you are a legitimate enterprise. So when that is done, then that is when we get a notification that company A has expressed interest, registered on this portal, and we now look at your details and somebody approves. After that, you now get to upload your products. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that all products that are being showcased on any portal, the image talks so much. So you can see the importance of all of us making sure that the image of your product stands out. What I had just shown you from Malaika is a good explanation to that. So it's so important that you make sure the description of that product is good, to make sure that the image is good, because it is very important. As you can see, this company called Wadia Agro Farm, we have not accepted their products yet. That's why you're seeing there is nothing, because after you have registered, we acknowledge your registration as an entity, then we approve the quality of the image and the quality of the description of the product. Each has its own approval, so that one, we are helping to make sure the site meets the credibility that it's required, and very importantly, that nobody compromises the image of this portal, either by mistakenly or intentionally putting up an image which can be compromising. So largely, members, I want to stop there, but encourage that you apply, have your products showcased here. We have given an offer of the first 200 to showcase their products here without any charge. After that, we'll have to look at how we shall be charging those who want to showcase, so that this site can sustain itself. Something else that's important is, what are we doing to have buyers? We are having various interventions to generate or to market this portal to the buyers. So far, we have had, I think, two presentations to commercial attaches in America, in South America. Last week, we had one in Europe. And this afternoon, we have another one in the Middle East for the commercial attaches who are in the Middle East. So we are doing what we need to do so that all those commercial attaches, wherever they are, they can first talk about this portal, but also, most importantly, they can show the buyers who they meet that this is where you'll get Kenyans who have been verified. This is where you'll get Kenyans who can serve you in terms of what you need from Kenya. And there is a government that is behind it to confirm that indeed the information is legitimate. So far, we have not plugged in the end-to-end logistics and warehousing. So this site, in terms of e-commerce, will help you to meet a buyer when you engage offline. Next, in the next phases, we want to now plug in the payment. We want to plug in various other service providers, so that if you are exporting, let's say, avocados, like what we've just seen, then you have various facilitators. If you needed somebody to do for you the refrigeration, you'll have somebody listed there and you can contact them. You want to know freighting, you'll have a service provider there enlisted. And at the end of the day, you can get your money reach you when you have done the transaction. That is journey, and this presentation really is just to make you aware about what we are doing and encourage that you take up the opening to register, because as government, we are here to facilitate you to make money, because we are in the business of not the actual trading, but facilitation. So welcome, members of KAM, those who may have not registered, most welcome. You can go online and try it out. If you fall into any hiccups, let us know. We shall support you. Asante sana na karibu and register. So Abel, I think I'm done with my presentation and look at something else.
Thank you very much, Ruben. The portal is really great. My key takeaways from your presentation is that, first of all, congratulations to KEPROBA for developing this portal. My key takeaways is that it will help manufacturers and the business community to identify trends and trade flows on their specific products of interest. After they identify these trends, they'll be able to see opportunities in them, be it opportunities of import replacement. This is for companies that are targeting the Kenyan market, the local market, or even export development. This is where the portal is able to show us the trends the trends of imported products in our markets of interest. Lastly, it will be able to help us market our products out there. and it is our humble request that you'll consider at least extending that concessional rate for the Kenya Association of Manufacturers members. So maybe as we go into the question and answer session, Kenya Association of Manufacturers and the government are committed towards increasing the contribution of the manufacturing sector to the GDP from the current 7.2% to 20% by the year 2030. And as such, we have a vision 20 by 30 that aims at driving this. And core to this is export market and domestic market growth. And your presentation on the trade portal really synergizes well with this strategy. And we will be looking at how we can create partnerships to drive this market access and growth in our export markets using this portal. And at this point, I would like us to go into the question and answer sessions. Our members, our participants, we request that you also keep them coming in. And maybe we can start with the question previously raised by Mr. Kaushik Shah, one of our directors, which I think, even though he raised the question specifically for the company that he represents, I think it's very relevant to other companies as well. And I would like maybe we have a response from KEPROBA. And if Mr. Kaushik, you can be able to speak, I'll give you the chance to speak. I've just enabled it, so you may proceed on and speak. Mr. Kaushik, can you hear us?
Good morning.
Yes, morning to you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not the director, Kaushik Shah, but I'm a manufacturer, a member of KM.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yes.
Basically, the question is very clear. The raw materials in the earlier presentation, it was meant to be for the local raw materials. And well, what we manufacture is items, raw materials are imported. So that's what I wanted to clarify. And thanks, I managed to get that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I would invite Jess to respond to that. So maybe if I may just add maybe to that question. We have instances where manufacturers have to import raw materials that are not available in Kenya, and also within the East African community as well. And the question by the member is that how do you treat such products and such companies for the Made in Kenya mark? It's more around the criteria for the use of Made in Kenya mark. So Jace, you may come in.
Thank you, Abel. I like the answer that you typed in to Mr. Kaushik, because that's what we use. And yes, it must not be wholly, the raw materials must not be wholly sourced in Kenya, but some of the raw materials must be sourced in Kenya. We have not given a percentage for now. The percentages we have given for the percentages we have given so far for employment, the staff must be 50 at minimum of 50% Kenyan. But in terms of raw materials, we have not indicated that. I'll need to consult further and get back. But I want to believe that Mr. Kaushik does not wholly use raw materials from abroad, or is that the case? Mr. Kaushik?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a plastic manufacturer. Therefore, part of the material, the major part is an imported material.
Okay, but wholly produced in Kenya?
It is fully produced in Kenya, yes.
You can go ahead and apply for the mark, yes.
Fine. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we go to the next question, just an additional clarification around it. So we do have various instances where you as a manufacturer, you'll be importing raw materials that are not available within the country. The plastic sector is a classical example, since we don't have a petrochemical industry within Kenya for the raw material, for the virgin raw material inputs. The metal sector is another example, because we don't have iron ore, though currently we do have, but we are yet to fully develop that value chain as at now. And in such instances, the EAC rules of origin had already foreseen such scenarios, and has various criteria of origination, including the value addition and the material content allowable within EAC. So as such, and as noted by Joyce, as long as the value addition, the actual manufacturing is being done within Kenya, your product qualifies for the Made in Kenya mark. Thank you. We may go to the second question, which I think will also be answered by Joyce. It has already been answered on the chat, but I feel it is also relevant for the other members and other manufacturers on the call. And the question was raised by Miriam. So Miriam from Gold Crown, if you can be able to quickly maybe speak around it. I've just enabled you to speak. You may just unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Miriam from Spicewell and not Gold Crown. The question was about, I think we were the first adoptees of the Made in Kenya / Grown in Kenya initiative, and the logo that was there initially did not have the clause on authentically Kenyan, something like that, from what was displayed by Joyce. So, but she made it clear that we can go ahead and use the new logo because it was adjusted slightly. So we've taken note of that. And the other question was on when exporting goods, if we can comfortably use the Made in Kenya or Grown in Kenya logo on bulk sales for goods packed in, we are in the grain sector, for goods packed in 25 or 50 kg bags, or maybe in the tags or in the bag artwork. And she's also like given a go ahead on the same. So those were my two concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jason, would you like to make further maybe clarifications around the same? This is specifically for manufacturers that are exporting products in bulk. Maybe several bundles of the same product, but packaged in one bulk packaging, or basic bulk packaging, maybe in sacks or in the 25 kgs.
We see this a lot, especially in our tea and coffee sector, and we do recommend that even the bulk sales go branded. The sacks and that you adopt the mark on all your products.
Jace, we've lost you slightly.
The line of products or packaging you have.
Okay. Thank you, Jace.
Allow me to just add something on what Joyce was explaining.
Yes.
That indeed the importance of this mark is for traceability. But our products, when they are not labeled, they are lost on the shelves. They are lost from where they came from. So our good quality products need to be identifiable that they have come from Kenya. So you want to ask yourself, if I had the bigger outer, which is well labeled, what happens when the product lands there? What happens when the person now dismembers and displays the product on the shelf? Because if the end product is not identifiable, then the mark now has lost its meaning. So therefore, the importance of having the smallest product having that, so that the customer, because the customer who will use, assuming it is tea, and the tea bag has the mark, it means the customer will feel, oh, this is tea from Kenya. I can see it is different from any other tea. And therefore will make this customer want to go back and buy the same tea from the same shop. So it has a ripple effect, hence the importance of having the mark identifiable on the inner and the outer packaging. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a hand raised from Terry. Terry, you may proceed on. I've just enabled you to speak. Terry, we can't hear you.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please proceed.
All right, great. So thanks for this opportunity. My name is Terry from KAM-KEPROBA Products Limited, manufacturers of coconut products. Factory is down in Ukunda. So my question is, we do export our products to Europe, USA, and the Middle East. The current mark we have on the product is the 100%. I think I missed that question, or the response to that question, the 100% Kenyan, authentic Kenyan. So with the new made in Kenya mark, does it mean that we no longer need the 100% Kenyan and authentic, or do we need to apply for both? So you have this, and then you also have the made in Kenya. And what is the difference of not having the made in Kenya, but you have the 100% authentically Kenyan? So that's one of the questions. I have a couple of questions.
Okay, so maybe you may raise all the questions, and maybe the team can answer them concurrently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my second question goes to the. All right. So that's one. So the other question is on the website, the makeitkenya.go.ke, the e-commerce website. In terms of, he did mention that there are no costs at the moment when you're applying for the first 200 applicants, but then after application, are there any other costs, maybe yearly or annually cost, or after, every 6 months kind of cost that we need to subscribe to? Are we expecting any other costs going forward, apart from when he did say that we're going to bring in, you're going to bring in the plug that allows, the plugs in the payments and gives you access to other services as well. So coming in, knowing that we probably already have customers on that side, and we really do want to open and expand our market within those areas that we've just mentioned, are we expecting any other cost, and we have a timeline when this will be done, so that if we decide, yes, let's let's plug in on this, let's apply, we have a year, we have 2 years before any other costs implication. The other question is, do we have any limits on the number and listing of the products within the database? So we are talking of a company that has let's say one brand, or maybe 2 different brands, and other, and different SKUs under the same brand. Is there a limit for the number of SKUs within the particular site? And I think to my last question will be on what is my last question? Yeah. So if we do apply the site at the moment, do we have any proof of concept that the site actually works? I know you've mentioned you're doing a couple of marketing efforts to be able to promote it to the global audience, but at the moment, do we have any proof of concept? After how long are we expecting to make any sales? I think one of the clarifications he did make when he was talking was that we will be engaging offline. So the site allows us to just meet clients, and then the rest of the conversation is done offline. So if it's done offline, that means the warehouse, the logistics of movement, that should be the supplier cost. Is there a place where also, as Kenya Export and Promotion Branding Agency, is there a place where you guys will come in much later, now that, yes, we've given you these clients, you've been able to close some businesses, there's a cut also expected from that? I think that's it. That covers all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. For the questions, I invite Ruben and Joyce to answer them.
Okay.
Joyce, go first.
Okay. All right. Just to clarify in terms of raw materials, the criteria states that the country of origin of each significant component must be Kenyan, as outlined in the EAC custom union rules. In terms of raw materials, the declaration defined as a country of origin. Once you have produced your items, we want you to now say that these items have now been produced in Kenya. Even if you imported the raw materials, the value addition has been done here in Kenya, and that's what we had earlier noted with Kaushik's question, that though you have partially or wholly gotten your materials, whether in Kenya or abroad, the actual product now is being exported from Kenya or is being sold from Kenya, and that's where we want the country of origin to be seen. And I don't know whether that's clear for you. It is in terms of declaring the final product. Where do you want that final product to be declared as originating from? And that's what we are saying, it must be declared as originating from Kenya when you're selling it. I don't know if it's clear. Terry?
Sure whether I'm on mute. It's hard to tell.
No, I can hear you.
Good. All right. So my question, I think, thanks for that. But my question was, yes, our products are produced in Kenya. Raw materials are also from Kenya. 100% of our workers, or at least 90%, are Kenyan. But we do have the 100% Kenyan authentic mark on all our products. So do we need the made in Kenya as well, or do we just need one of those marks?
Okay, I will need to see the mark you have. Because as far as I know, we have the Made in Kenya mark and the Authentically Kenyan mark. I don't know if you have another variation. Maybe we can engage offline. I'll just text you my email. You can share with me maybe a screenshot of what you're saying, then I can be able to advise you. Sorry, I have not gotten clearly that part here.
So maybe just to expound on the question, the company already has the 100% of the authentically Kenyan marker, and they're asking that do they need to transition into the Made in Kenya mark, and how do they do that?
Okay, yes. So you're saying you have 100% Kenyan, that's not from us. You may need to still apply for the Made in Kenya mark, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and to get it, you just use the link that we have shared on chat, that Abel shared earlier.
Okay, thanks. I think we'll link up Terry and Jace later on, so that they can you can be able to support the company through the process. The bulk of the other questions were, I think, targeted towards Ruben. So Ruben, you may have the floor.
Thanks. Asante, Abel. Terry from KAM-KEPROBA. Thank you so much. I think we have worked with KAM-KEPROBA for quite a bit during the product development forum, and we are proud that you are doing very well in export business. You have quite a number of questions. One of them is about cost. The overall underlying factor, Terry, is that we are government, and the duty of government is to facilitate its people or her people. So our core business is not necessarily to make money, but to make sure that we have increased exports, because at the end of the day, our show of performance is that exports have grown. And that is always reflected in the figures, part of which I've just shared. So what hidden costs are there, if at all? As I mentioned right now, we are looking at getting good numbers whom we can now also help to sell this portal to as many people as possible. You and I appreciate the fact that if you went to a supermarket, you more or less have a feel that you'll get the products that you are interested in, because the supermarket has so many products from different suppliers under one roof. So part of why we are proposing the first 200 people is they play a very key role in having a critical mass that creates value for the buyer who is out there. But when we are doing our campaigns, we can really put a case to them that we have a critical number of products, a critical number of exhibitors, a critical number of verified Kenyans with different products. So that is our strategy for now. And when we get that mark, the costs that shall be levied shall be contemplated and levied to those who join later on. This is with respect to the products that you are showing, trading that you are now showing. If at all the other added services, for example, warehousing or e-commerce payment, that will be discussed when they come. But essentially, as I've said, we are about to have these various people come in to make it easy for the buyer to get a seller or vice versa. So the intention is that to have that realized. If any costs that we shall be brought up later on will be made known to everybody so that they are made very much aware and will not be anything prohibitive. But for now, as I've said, everything is free because largely we are in government, and government's duty is to create value, create an environment for her people. And Terry, you are one of the Kenyans who need to use these services to your advantage. When exports grow, when the foreign exchange grow, as a Kenyan, we shall have grown. We shall have brought in more products, more money to the taxpayer, to the tax basket. And that is very important for our economy. Not only will it have created jobs, not only will it have created wealth, not only will it have improved standards, there's quite a bit that we look at as government. The next bit is the number of products. Really, the most important thing is how do you want for people to reach you and reach your products easily. So there is no limit to the products that can be showcased. However, we may want just to appreciate what products you have in mind, because it is each product that has its unique price and unique identity. What in trading they call it the SKU. That product needs to be uniquely identifiable, and therefore it needs to be defined because it has its attributes. It has, most importantly, it's a price tag that is different. However, if the product is varying only in color, so that you say this product is red, but it's also available in different colors, then the site allows you to upload the various variations of that product in as long as the description is the same. Largely, that if a product can be identifiable by certain attributes, then that is one product. And another product that has different attributes is defined now as a different product. Largely, that is the overall rule. And as I've guided, if the variation is as tiny as color, then the site just allows you to upload images of the same product in different colors, and the buyer can appreciate and therefore can engage you. Because remember, when somebody makes an order, they make an order against a product that has a price tag. So that ideally is what defines the SKU of the product. How long do we wait for this site to make money? So far, we have just launched site about 2-3 weeks ago. And as you can see, we are talking about 50 and above Kenyans who have so far registered. So we are yet to get buyers to give them value, and that is part of what I've just mentioned, that we are going out to market the portal to the buyers so that we can create value who have registered. More importantly, we are doing this forum so that we have more Kenyans register, because as I mentioned, you and I enjoy the advantage of going to a supermarket because of variety. And that variety is being created or shall be created by as many Kenyans as possible who shall put their products online, so that it gives the buyer that advantage. But yes, right now, if somebody went and got contact with any of those who have registered, no issue, because the site is up. So you're most welcome to enlist yourself so that we get moving along with you. Is there, the last bit, is there a cut? Is there anything for us? Largely, we will put up some measures, some strategy to just make sure that this site is self-sustaining by itself. You might have seen that we discussed issues of market intelligence. There are statistics there. Underneath, you might have seen something else for market product profiles and market profiles. Some of those items will be monetized. For example, if you needed market research that has been done, it's a voluminous document that has very nice actionable areas for you to make business. So if we were to make that available to you, you pay a little amount, and that document is available online. That is just part of the services that we shall be monetizing later on. But for now, as far as this e-commerce bit is concerned, it is free, so that we get it to reach a critical mass and see how we shall monetize. And as I mentioned, we are here to support Kenyans. We are here to add value, so that at the end of the day, we can look at the bottom line. And our bottom line is about the increase in export, because it has a ripple effect to the economy, and that is what government is about. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Abba.
Thank you, Ruben. We have some other 2 questions on the chat box. Let me read them, and the KEPROBA team can take it up. I think the first one is directed to Joyce from one of our members, Mark Gitao. So does this apply for other non-physical products such as software? Where can the badge be added to our marketing material? This can go along in promoting local software companies. So how does the Made in Kenya mark, how is it used specifically in non-tangible products such as software?
Okay. I had noted earlier that we are in discussions to develop more marks of identity to identify some of our products and services that are not captured under the Made in Kenya and the Grown in Kenya. We had earlier developed some proudly Kenyan, and once we started the process of registration, we were advised to hold a little. And therefore, let us just continue engaging our stakeholders. It's something that we are definitely working on. Once we have the go-ahead from the relevant authorities, we will get back. But as it is for now, we have 2 marks that we have full authority to use, and that's Made in Kenya and Grown in Kenya.
Okay, thank you. I hope the response suffices Bwana Getao. Once KEPROBA has been able to develop a mark of identity specifically for such products as software, they'll be able to reach out and you can be able to use such marks in your products. Then we have a question from Mr. Otieno. We are a company that produces a product, and our product has the mark of Made in Kenya. But it has come to a realization that a similar product is imported illegally into the country, and the market price is lower, and this affects business. How can KEPROBA help us deal with this issue?
Right. Let me pick up that. Was it Otieno you mentioned, Abel?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but Otieno, we have, because you and I know that there are some business people who may not be doing it right, and that could be one of such. So I want to request you to make a formal request, formal complaint with any attachments you so wish, and we can pick up that with the anti-counterfeit SCA authority, who shall help you to have that rectified. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you. I'd also request Joseph Oirioko. He handles our illicit trade desk and our focal person for the anti-counterfeit authority. Joseph, any further remarks around this question?
Thank you, Abel. This is a pure case of what we are fighting in terms of illicit trade, and therefore I request that we share the email address so that we can follow up on this matter.
Okay, so I request Joseph, you may share your contacts on the chat box, and Bwana Otieno will be able to reach out directly to you, and you may take up the matter. Then we have a question from Miss Linda, and it goes, can I get the logo please? Also, I signed up for the e-portal and the application is still pending approval. How long is the approval process? So this is Linda from Dorman's Coffee. So Ruben, how long is the approval process once a company registers in the e-portal?
Okay, approval is immediate. Most likely the team that was looking at that may have not seen something that they were looking for. Can I follow up for you? This is for 2 months. Follow up immediately so that you get feedback on what may have delayed you to get the approval done. I promise to get back to you in the course of today.
Okay, thank you. As maybe just this is for all the attendees, as we are sharing out the presentations which have been made alongside the day, and also the recording which I see most of us are requesting for. We'll also share the email addresses of the focal persons within KEPROBA, so that we can take the discussions from this webinar into actual work, and getting to see more locally manufactured products, both in the portal and also using the Made in Kenya mark. So I see no other question. Any other question that anyone might have, you may put it on the chat or the question and answer, or you may raise your hand. Maybe anyone who has anything else. I see none, and we are quite on time for the webinar. We intended that this webinar would end at around noon, and we are 12 minutes to noon. And as we close this, I would like to send our appreciation to the Kenya Exports Promotion and Branding Agency, led by Ms. Floyce Mukabana, the Director for Stakeholder Engagement, for taking time and coming to sensitize and capacity build the manufacturers through the Made in Kenya mark and also the e-portal. I also take time to appreciate the manufacturers, captains of industry who've joined us for this session. I request that we take this conversation beyond this webinar and engage with the respective persons within KEPROBA and within KAM. As noted earlier, we'll share the contact persons specifically for these engagements within KEPROBA and also within the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. And we will be touching base in a few months' time just to check on the progress of how many locally manufactured products have been able to get registered in these two platforms. So from KM side, from the Kenya Association of Manufacturers side, we'll be sharing the recording of this webinar. We'll also be sharing the presentations that have been made on this webinar. This is for further use and internalization. And from these presentations, you'll be able to see the specific criteria and the specific process that you may use in order to register for the Made in Kenya mark and also to register in the e-portal. And with this, I appreciate everyone for taking time to join this and look forward to engaging with you in the future and driving the 20 by 30 vision for the manufacturing sector. So I'm wishing everybody a good day and rest of the week. Thank you.
Thanks, Abel.